Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're going to rebuild our struts. Unfortunately guys, this video is going to be a bit all over the place because I'm trying to do a whole heap of things at once while waiting for parts. So as parts come, I'm doing bits and bobs as I can. So unfortunately, it's out of my hands. I've left everything to order too late and just waiting on the postman to deliver my parts. So let's get into it. Simple up here, just 3 13mm bolts. And that's it. As I undo this last bolt, it will want to come off. And just like that, it's now. As always, I'm waiting for parts again to rebuild this sucker. So, waiting on spring, top strut mount, and that rubber boot that goes in over the shock shaft. Also waiting for a spring compressor. I'm not going to take that off without that. So I'll pick you all up when those parts arrive. Now that is apart, we are left with this nut, which is the biggest pain you'll ever come across on a car. Now, before I pulled that apart, I thought I'll see if I can get that loose, and the top came off. So basically what it's meant to be is you put some sort of hammering device in there and you tap it round and it will come off. But no, it's sheared right off on the spot welds. So either I weld it back on, or I have to do what I did with the other side, which took a full day's worth of work to get it out. Ended up being have to cut the shock, get it down, get the reciprocating saw in and cut the nut out. I want to try and save this nut if I can. So I might try and weld that back on. And you can see underneath how rusty that is before I've even started. But that is tight and it's going to be damn hard. Now I think the issue is that there's meant to be that rubber boot that goes over here to stop dirt, wet, muck, everything getting in. Now these didn't have it, so I'm guessing that is why they're being so difficult. So I need to think of a plan of attack on how to get that out. So I will be back when I've figured out what I'm going to do. So I've had some think time on what I'm going to do, and as you can see by this, it doesn't shock very well, so they're cooked anyway. I'm going to pull that shaft out, cut it off, push whatever's back down, and then I'm going to cut a slot in the top of that, see if I can somehow tap it out. If not, then we'll probably cut it out. But start by cutting it off and just cut a slot, so then we've got something to put the big banging stick in to try and undo it. Well, That's a big fat fail. Cut the shaft, pushed it down, cut the slot. That ain't going anywhere, so it looks as though I'm going to have to cut it out like I did the last one. So I'll cut 2 cuts, chisel a piece out, and then you just keep cutting until the whole lot comes out. As you can see, the dog's really interested in it. Yep, thanks for that. And yeah, the only problem is you got to be careful because you don't want to damage the thread. So let's cut. Well, there you go. That nut is out. It does make a hell of a mess though. All the oil in the shock comes out, and I tell you what, that shock material is damn hard stuff. It's really hard to cut and blunts your blade pretty quickly, but that should come out. And that's that done. So all parts are here now. I just need to put the damn thing back together. So it's lowered king springs, lowered shocks, new toppy bit here, new rubbery bit here, give it a nice lick of paint, ready to put back on. Happy days. I've given this a bit of a clean up, and I don't know how well you can see, but if you look in there, that nut was rusted on, and there is a spot around where it's got a bit of pitting, but it'll be all right. I just got to clean it up properly and we'll be good to go. But that pretty much just shows the importance of that rubber boot. If you don't have it, good luck getting your shock out when you need to change it. That's one coat of paint on, couple more, let it dry, ready to put back together. All right, now that's painted. Now it's time to start putting the thing together. And first thing we're going to start with is the shock absorber. New shock. I'll get this rubbish off. And it's just as easy as popping it in the hole. Now, this is the new nut that comes with it. It has a washer that goes underneath. If I can find the hole. So wash it inside, and then that comes down over the top. Give that a jiggle. And that should start the threading at some stage. Just like that. Now, I got one of these tools, which is called a, keep forgetting the name of the damn thing. What's it called? Something wrench, but it's used for hydraulic cylinders on tractors, farm equipment, that kind of stuff. And I need that to go in those holes, enable to tighten it down properly. And of course, it doesn't want to go in, does it? Come on, you silly thing. Now, this one's not going to be as tight as the last side, but it's still going to give me grief. I don't know why this side does not want to stay up like the last one. That's alright. Anyway, this tool is designed to do up these kind of things. But you need to get it in the pinhole first. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know what? Of course now I'm videoing someone's mowing the lawn, but it does have adjustable pins, 1K loose. See how we go now. In the hole, you son of a... Well, that's probably going to go into it upside down. Gland wrench, that's what it's called, a gland wrench. That's it, that's how you get it in. Alright, now, you put it in the little hole and make it fall out. And it doesn't fit again. What is wrong with this thing? Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh my god, that's tight as well. What the fuck on here? Is that? It's tight as a monkey's uncle as well. Tell you what, this whole job has not gone to plan whatsoever. Everything has fought me tooth and bloody nail. That screw is in by itself. Man, the bastard. Stand up. Come here. Ah, that's a tight one. Well, looks like we're going back to the vise. Guys, because it's just not happening for me. Alright, let's get it started and take it to the vise. Alright, we're in the vise, now we'll tighten it up. Hopefully, I don't get in too much of the way and you can all see what's going on. But, gland wrench on a ratchet, turn it around, get him on. So now the shock is secure in place, we can move on to the next step. Now, if you remember earlier, I mentioned that there was a bit of pitting inside from that last nut that I got out. That did cause me lots of dramas, because when this nut got to that crusty section, it didn't want to go in, so it fought me tooth and nail. And what was happening was, you know, I couldn't get it down far enough, so the shock had a bit of movement in it, and obviously that's not in properly, and it was going to rattle like crazy if I had left it like that. But don't get me wrong, the nut was tight. It was held tight because I couldn't undo it. But what I had to do was take the shock out and just thread it in with nothing in it, and used a different piece of equipment, just a adjustable pin wrench with a breaker bar on the end to give me some leverage to try and recut the threads. So that's what happened with that. So the next step is this rubber boot and this fancy looking thing. So we want to push that in to the end. Now it's tight, but it'll be right. So then we'll put a cable tie around that, so that can hold that. Put it on the right way. And while I've got these, I believe I've been given the wrong ones, but that doesn't matter. What's going on there? That's going to hold. I believe these are for a VR up, not VL down, but I can still make them work anyway. They're going to be better than having nothing on it. So you want that on the top and then down over the shock shaft. So it goes down there, and I'm not going to put anything on that because A, it's too big, and when you go to zip tie it up, it just crunches up and doesn't work. So this is going to be better than having nothing. So the next time these shocks need to be changed, those nuts are going to come out. So the next thing is to compress the springs. So there's the new coil spring and the old coil spring. So the yellow one is V8, red one is 6-cylinder. Now I don't know if that's stock standard or that's been a lowered spring. I don't know. It did have Peters shocks in it, so it had some work previously, but look at the difference in height in those springs. So need to compress the yellow one down and get the sucker in. One other bit of information is these springs are actually handed. So you look in there, that one's right hand and obviously left hand for the passenger side. So I am currently working on the right hand, so right hand will go in right hand. All right, spring is compressed, fits on there. Now, top plate has been cleaned up, and I've got new strut tops from Resto Country. Now these bolt straight in up the top. I believe you can press the pins out for other models, but this one doesn't need to be done like that. So really all this needs to do is go on there, start that nut, and the rest is history. So you want to locate the bottom of the spring in the little groove, and you want the top of the spring in the little groove as well. Because if you put it all together without doing that, it's not going to be pretty. So now we'll get that top cap back on, nut in, do it up, see how we go. The shock is turning, so we need to clamp it with a vice grip. So that's another good reason why I don't want the cable tight on the bottom. Get that spring located in there so we don't fall out as we do it up. Now if I slowly undo the clamps, it should all stay in place together. And just like that, it's together. Now I'm going to check the torque on that top bolt, take that tape off the end, pop the dust cap back in the top, job done. There you go, tape off, dust cover on the top. The only thing that's disappointing about those strut tops is it doesn't come with new bolts and washers to bolt it back in the car. You have to use your old ones, so those old ones on there will be getting reused. But as you can see, those King springs compress down, fit in nicely, new shocks, rubber bit to protect it. It's good as gold. So that is now ready to go back in the car. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Now that has been one major job. There's no way I expected that to take that long. Now I had parts delays, which are probably on me because, you know, as I was pulling things apart, I thought, oh, we'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that, and I'll do that. Because the original plan was just take it out, clean it up, stick it all back in. But then older brother said, kind of really need to put those V8 springs in and get rid of those 6-cylinder ones, or your front end's just going to sag down like a saggy baggy elephant. So all right, I'll do that. And I got parts and they were the wrong parts. I got sent the wrong shocks, not even for a Commodore. I don't know what the hell they're for, but to their credit, they are going to pay to have them sent back and replace, but I've got shocks elsewhere, so that will just be a spare set when I get around to that. And those bloody nuts for the top of the shocks, what a freaking nightmare. I never want to have to go through that again. I reckon there's probably 6 to 8 hours worth of work getting both of those nuts out. They were that rooted. But it's done, and hopefully it doesn't have to be done for another long time. Anyways, enough rambling. This video's done. Next video will be putting it all back together. So if you like this video, give it a like, leave me a comment. What did I do wrong? Did I do a good job? Who knows? And if you could subscribe as well, that'd be really good. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.